What it do, Kingpins? We back with another video, man. And this one is a sad one, man, because police brutality in America right now is at an all-time high. It's almost ridiculous, man, to know that, you know, every other week another black man is being gunned down by the police. And I hate to admit it, but most of the time, when a black individual is gunned down by the police, it's just because, man, we panicking and we're acting improperly. I've noticed if you show respect, they give it back to you. But those are my cases. I've seen cases where, like George Floyd, you know, even when I looked at the video, man, it was like a lot of things that I saw there that could have went a lot differently that would have saved dude. But what I mean, things happen for a reason, and like I say, racism and brutality by police and them having that badge and using it against us is crazy. But I'm finna react to this video because I watched a little bit of it, and the guy in here had some very valid points. The problem is that I don't think he's seeing all angles. So let's just watch.
Officer-involved shooting that occurred in Philadelphia. It occurred as recent as yesterday, where officers responded to a man that was armed with a knife, and they ultimately ended up killing him, and he was believed to be suffering from mental health issues. Let's take a look at the video, and then let's come back and talk about it.
For one, before we start, now, I don't know the situation that well, but I know every time we get into a shooting with some black guy or some crazy that got something to do with some person of color, it's always some mental health issues coming into play. Like he wasn't just straight a week ago. But okay.
Watch the wheel. Don't shoot the wheel. Yo, you gonna smoke? Yo, watch my wheel. Yo.
Now, I don't know if y'all heard that. I'll rewind it back, but he said, man, bag up. It looked like to me they was ready to shoot him a long time ago. They was ready to shoot him a minute ago. And the reason why he lasted that long is because his mama was there. It's crazy.
Yo, watch my wheel. Yo. Oh!
They shot that nigga like 8 times, bro. What the fuck? Hold up. Bro, they shot this nigga like 8 times.
Oh my God!
Damn, she threw something.
Oh my God!
All right, guys, so one of the things I want to touch on first is I want to say something, and I've said this about race, but I'm going to say it as it relates to police brutality. One of the things I said about race is that we got to be careful of labeling everything as racism, because how are we supposed to know what really is racism if we label everything as racism? Well, that's kind of what's true in this video, is that we got to be careful at labeling everything as police brutality, because how are we supposed to know what really is police brutality? And this was not one of them. Now, this is a very unfortunate circumstance, and the reason why is because officers responded to a guy that had a knife in his hand. Now, the whole family is believed to have known, obviously, that he was suffering from mental illness, and they knew he needed mental health treatment. However, just because he needed mental health treatment, it doesn't remove the fact that he is also still armed and dangerous and a threat to the officers that are responding or a threat to other people in the area. And so when officers got there, they had tried to talk to this guy. They tried to de-escalate the situation. They tried to tell him to put the knife down. However, the guy continued to advance on officers without putting that knife down. Now, it should be noted that the officers attempted multiple times to back away from this person that held the knife in his hand, creating distance. Why is that important to know? Is because you can see the officers tried to create space so that way they can avoid having to utilize deadly force. Now, unfortunately, the subject continued to advance on officers with the knife, and ultimately the officers ended up choosing to use deadly force to stop that threat. Now, one of the things that should also be notated is that during this video, multiple people were saying shoot him in the leg or tase him. Now, I've shown you guys many videos before where we've seen other people approach officers with knife and go on the offense with an officer with a knife, and officers lay multiple rounds on that target with their gun, and that person still be able to advance on them. Let's take a look at a few of those so that way I can remind you.
Step back. You will get shot.
First of all, that officer, he looks black.
Shot.
And he can't shoot.
Fire. Shots fired. Put the knife down, please. No, 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 no. Put it out. Shots fired. Central shots fired. Put the knife. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Ah, no, no. No, no, get on the ground. Get on the ground. No. No. Get on the ground, man. Tase him.
Bro, they just shot him at least 6, 7 times, or unless he missed all them shots. But he hit him a few times. He got up and he says, tase him. And he says, this is a perfect example of what? Privilege, motherfucker.
Oh, no, no. Ah.
Look at that shit. He let him get all up on him. Look at this shit.
So now that you guys have seen those videos, I want you guys to remember that just because a person is armed with a knife doesn't make them not a threat to the police officers. That knife can be used to kill officers. It's actually happened before where people have been able to stab people or stab officers, but when they're responding to a call for service. And then the whole notion of shooting somebody in the leg. I also did a recent video on that where we talk about the why we don't shoot people in the leg, why it's so difficult. In this particular situation, I want to highlight something important to know, is that there are a lot of people outside in this neighborhood watching this whole ordeal take place. And so let's say the officers did choose to shoot this person in the leg or the arm. What happens if those officers miss those shots? Because the reality of it is, this is a high...
Bro, you're not making no fucking sense. What are you saying? They could have shot a motherfucker busting at this nigga face or wherever the fuck they shot him at. This nigga's dumb.
Intense, stressful situation, the odds of them putting rounds away from that target and maybe into somebody else that's looking as an innocent bystanders are very high.
Bro, look at all the innocent bystanders out there. What the fuck are you talking about?
Why they aim for the torso, the biggest part of a person's body, so that way they can put rounds on target effectively and efficiently. And so, again, the loss of life in anything, I've said this before, I'll say it again, the loss...
Man, they use deadly force. That other guy you just showed us, they use deadly force and then they let him get back up and
life in anything is devastating to the family who called and, you know, they knew their son needed some mental health treatment, to the officers who took the life of another person. But this also begs the question, we have to reevaluate how we respond to these calls for service. You know, there's been talks to say, hey, law enforcement shouldn't even respond to a mental health crisis. And, you know, on the surface level, it sounds good. And in my department, we've actually done that a couple times.
Not untrained. They should have a special department for the mentally ill and a special tactic for the mentally ill because they haven't developed one.
But at the same time, if those officers don't respond, who is going to respond? If a social worker responds, does that all of a sudden mean that that person is not going to be a danger to the social worker? But at the same time, the family called for a reason because they knew that he was going through a crisis and needed help, right? So that means he's possibly a danger to his family and friends. There is no good end to this situation, no matter how you look at it. I mean, they could have tried to tase him, they could have tried to shoot him in the leg, but then again, they take the chance of hurting somebody else that's involved that's innocent as well. So again, I hope you got...
Well, we're done with him, but the fucked up part about this whole situation is, to me, and it's just my honest opinion, it looked like they wanted to shoot him way before, you know, he started charging after them because his mother was in the way. But that doesn't defeat the fact that I believe that he wasn't just gonna walk up to him and hug him. So, you know, they had no choice. They were scared and they feared for their life. So the rioting in Philly is actually unwarranted. I think y'all actually in the wrong for that, man. I think y'all actually tearing up y'all city for no reason. I think y'all actually gonna have a problem tomorrow morning when Trump sends whatever militia y'all way, and it's just gonna be ugly. Y'all just tore up everything just like Chicago did, man. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, but I'll tell you what, if that's gonna get us our reparations, then fuck it. Shit. Every time you kill a motherfucker, we gonna fuck a city up. Cause you could have shot him in the fucking leg. That's right. You could have shot him in the arm. You a professional police officer. So that means you're a professional shooter. You go to the range, you shoot often, so you know where to aim, and you got aim. That's why you hitting this motherfucker. So, you know, I'm gonna just tell you like this, man. I wouldn't tell my own city, but if that's the only way we can be heard, man, then guess what? We tearing this bitch up. So, all right, Kingpins, I'm signing out, man. I just wanted to come at y'all with this one, man, because we only report real facts out here, man, and that's fucked up what's going on in Philly right now. I mean, as we speak, it's going down everywhere. So, y'all be safe out there. Good night.